Hey there, nerdpreneurs. Welcome back to Market Like a Nerd, and get ready to geek out with me because today I'm joined by creator of the ultra spiritual comedy series, JP Sears. Whoop whoop. Hey, JP.
Hey, Amanda. Thank you for having me on and letting me be a nerd with y'all.
Yeah, well, we are stoked to have you. Welcome to Nerdpreneur Nation.
I've never been happier,
Oh, I know you're lying,
ever.
but it still
And
means a lot to me.
and I never will be happier. So this is the pinnacle of my life, and the rest of it's going to be relatively crappier. So
Oh, well, that's sad for you, but good for us.
yeah, that's
So we're happy to have you and everyone who's listening. Just so that you know, today we're going to talk about how JP here went from ultra authentic to ultra profitable, from comedy to commandeering attention and cash, from making mockery of the metaphysical to millions of views on YouTube. It's going to be fun.
the alliterations run strong in you today,
Oh,
Amanda.
they do. They do. I know. Thank you.
I only recently learned the term alliterations. I've always enjoyed saying them, and like it just feels good. It's like grace,
It
but I never
does.
knew there was a term for
I
it. So
love it.
now I like to say the word alliteration at least 19 times a day. So
Well,
I
it
got one
makes
in
you
right
sound
there.
smaller. It's not smaller, smarter.
Absolutely. Like I can just conceptualize someone's whole perspective and way of being in like a one word statement. Of course, it's like a way of asserting my dominance over people.
Exactly. That's important in life. So,
And that is what life's about, obviously. I think it was Gandhi who said, asserting your dominance over other people is the key to seeing the change that you wish to see in the world.
we might want to fact check that, guys. But JP said it, so it's likely to be true. So, guys, first, let me tell you a little bit about JP, and then we'll walk through his tips for being ultra authentic so you can make ultra amounts of money without sacrificing your ultra spirituality. JP Sears is an emotional healing coach, YouTuber, author, international teacher, speaker at events, world traveler, and curious student of life. His work empowers people to live more meaningful lives. JP is the author of How to Be Ultra Spiritual, which is releasing soon, so stay tuned for a plug. He is very active with his online videos where he encourages healing and growth through his humorous and entertainingly informative videos. I love them, including his hit ultra spiritual comedy series, which has accumulated over 100 million views. You can learn more about JP and his work at awakenwithjp.com. Now, that's the overview of his story and biography, but I want you to get to know the real JP because he's a little cray-cray. So before we get into the meat of today's episode, let's have some fun. JP, are you ready?
That's a good question. It sounds like you're trying to get me to consent into whatever evil you have planned for me.
Right.
So that my case in court is better, I'm going to say no. Wink.
Well, you don't really have a choice. It was just a formality. So let's dive in. Who wins in a fight, the Dalai Lama or Mother Teresa?
Obviously, the Dalai Lama. I mean, it's a known fact that Mother Teresa was on performance-enhancing drugs, but she was more on like the endurance-oriented blood doping drugs. That ain't going to help you in a fight. So the Dalai Lama all the way.
Yeah, I like me some Dalai. Now, you talk about being authentic. Do you spend $100 for authentic Oakley sunglasses, or do you buy the knockoffs and save $80?
Man, I don't buy any sunglasses. About 6 months ago, I left my one pair of sunglasses in a rental car in Dallas, Texas, and I have not gotten any sunglasses since.
Aw, well, that's probably hard on your delicate blue eyes.
Yeah, it really is. I'd like to have another rationalization other than just pure laziness for that.
Yeah. That's okay. Would you rather have all of your millions of viewers see you in your authentic naked self, or wake up tomorrow and all of your subscribers are gone?
Yeah, I'd rather have everybody see me in my raw, naked, authentic self.
All right, so next episode of Awaken with JP. Look out
Which
for
I
it.
think, I don't know that YouTube and Facebook would really like that.
Dang it, you're right. We'll put like leaves over your parts.
I like that idea.
Yeah, just, material for your next bit. Now, since it's not ultra spiritual to talk about money, would you rather get paid in gluten-free pumpkin pie or essential oils?
Well, I think certainly essential oils, because if I'm getting paid in essential oils, that means I'm going to be able to also build my downline of getting my friends and family involved and evolved into the essential oil business opportunity.
See, you say you're a comedian, but you got them biz smarts. You got it. All right.
Thank you.
Finally, and most importantly, my chakras are just so out of whack. Can you soothe me from afar with a spiritual hymn, please?
To me, that's not a very gender fluid statement. So I won't soothe you with a hymn. In fact, I'm offended that you even think that I'm a guy just because I'm a man. So I will not. I'm more into only gender fluid noises.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then my chakras might be a little out of whack while we're doing this interview. I'm sorry.
Your chakras are going to keep hurting.
Yeah. Okay. So I might fuck up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I think you already have. I didn't want to say anything. This has been terrible so far.
Read between the lines.
The point is well taken.
All right, guys. That was fun. Let's get down to business, though, okay? So, JP, you told me you were going to share with us today about authenticity and how it skyrocketed you to millions of YouTube viewers and online fame. So let's dive in. Can you get a little OCD with us? We're nerds here, remember? And break it down into 3-5 main steps or tips that you have for us today.
Yeah, well, I'll just start talking and I'll pretend that they'll come out in like 5 steps or whatever it is.
Well, that's as per usual. So
yeah, as it is. So first, I'd like to sound a little cheesy because what I'm about to say is cheesy, but to me, it's also true. I think people are inherently very valuable. And that sounds like, oh, well, that's good, JP. That means you're not like a mass murderer. That's a good thing. But, I think a lot of times...
Or you're a very good mass murderer, and you're saying that so we don't catch on to you.
Exactly. Join the cult. But I think inherently a lot of us get stuck in a rut of trying to earn our value. And I get that. There's like this thing called achievement in life. It's great. But when we get stuck in it, I think it's like quicksand that can swallow us up, and it can really hypnotize us into forgetting that we carry a crap load of inherent value in us. Not what we earn, but what we are. So I do think the miracle of our own being holds priceless gifts, not only for our inner fulfillment, but for our businesses as well. I think we are the gift. And I think if we can tap that resource of our authentic self inside, it does amazing things for our business in terms of adding value and attracting people. And I think the joke is it's a priceless gift and it doesn't cost anything. And it's an incredibly renewable, sustainable resource. And I think when we bring something real about ourselves into our business, that gives other people, our audience, if you will, something to actually connect to. But when we're not being real, yes, like we might be making a lot of noise. We might be catching a lot of visual, but it's like we're a hologram. There's nothing real there to connect to. So it's kind of like emotionally, mentally, energetically, it's hard for an audience to stick with us because we're not giving them us.
Right.
If we're not leading with our authentic heart. So with that said, I'm all about figure out who you are and bring some of that real weird messiness into your business. And I love the nerd theme that you have. I like the word weird, and to me, weird and nerd are very similar. to me, nerd and weird bridges into like, don't conform, don't be normal. I think normal is the worst disease humanity has ever faced. I think it's the most pervasive disease. I don't think anybody's ever succeeded at life or business by excelling at normalcy. So to me, bridging out of normalcy, not out of rebellion, that's just, hell, it's normal to rebel. So, but for the sake of finding our weird self, walking the bridge of weirdness and nerdiness is beautiful. It leads us into some of our true self. And then as far as expressing our true self, there's no limit on how we can do that. I have found some of what works for me in terms of building an audience, like getting a little less abstract now, a little more practical. Part of building an audience is producing content that's shareable. That's that's pretty golden if people share it. So what I found is creating content that gives people entertainment and or gives people awareness and or inspires people. Makes very shareable content.
Yeah.
So entertainment, my version of entertainment happens to be comedy. And then awareness. Awareness is basically telling people something about themselves that they didn't know. So a lot of times what I'm portraying in my videos through the satire is I'm exposing something about like the spiritual culture or health culture that everybody knows about, but everybody knows to act like nobody knows about it.
Yeah, it's almost like you take these private thoughts that people have about certain spiritual topics and you bring them public. Like you're the one that's bold enough to talk about it, so it really stands out.
Yeah, so that's awareness. And people, it's like a relief to see yourself in the mirror. It's like, oh, okay. So that can make people really gravitate to the content and the messenger of the content. And then inspiration, which for me is giving people hope, giving people purpose. And I think it's really facilitating the process of them giving themselves hope or purpose. So when we're expressing our authenticity, be it video, written word, a picture, whatever it is, if we can have one or honestly, preferably more of these three pillars of shareability, entertainment, inspiration, or awareness, I think it allows us to express our authenticity through those colors. I think it really can enhance our business. I think that's really what has helped me.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard you talk about this before, the way that your business used to be and the way that it is now, and the very stark difference, not just in the success and the visibility of the business, but also in your enjoyment of it. And I experienced something very similar. Before, I was not always market like a nerd. Before this, I was Goldman Petrie coaching.
Oh, wow. That sounds like a attorney / coaching practice. Wow.
Right. Yes. It was, it was like I had a beautiful site, but I wasn't bringing my authentic self forward into the brand. And so I wasn't having as much fun with it. My clients weren't having as much fun with it. And it didn't stand out the way that it does now. And the reason why it stands out is because there's no facade. Like people know that they're really getting me, and that's what people want. That's what people trust. And I know this is getting a little nerdy here, but you can see this really in action even in your numbers. So like if you look at landing pages that I did before I was market like a nerd, and then you look at them now, same exact layout, same exact copy. It's just one was Goldman Petrie coaching and one was market like a nerd. The conversion is like 30% higher. So that's getting super nerdy.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. I think one of, if not the most fundamental human need that we all have is the need for connection. When we're being personable, we give people someone to connect to. When we're being professional, which is another word for facade, we're not giving people an opportunity for a personable connection. So if we can be ourselves enough, and I get it, like there's use your discernment too, and you don't show up for a interview naked. At least not the top half.
Or do you?
Yes, or do you? But if we can show up being our personable, authentic self, man, that gives people something to connect to. And if we can contribute in them in some way, meeting their most fundamental human need for connection, well, guess what? That means they'll be connected to us. And obviously in business, that means they've just become a member of my audience. And that, funneling them down, eventually they may convert to an actual customer.
Yeah. And, you talked about your content being inspirational. I often find that your content is inspirational purely because it is authentic, because it basically stands for authenticity. You're making a stand.
Thank you for seeing it that way.
You are inspirational purely because you are yourself. And by people watching when people watch your videos, it's proof to them that they can be themselves, that they can take their clothes off on interviews if they so choose. That they can be themselves, and it's okay in business. I think we're often taught that you have to be a professional, that you have to be a certain way in business. I know actually I showed one of my videos, because I have a pretty absurd vlog myself, and I showed one of my videos to this carpenter at my house who's doing some work in my house, and he's not a very nice person. But I showed him the video as a way to attempt to connect with him. And and he was just like, people watch that? Like he's still under this belief that you have to be professional, that you have to be a certain way in business. And I know that you are proof that is not true.
Yeah. And I'm curious, roughly how old would you guesstimate the carpenter is?
I'm really bad at that.
Oh, that's all right. We'll judge you no matter how wrong you are.
50? 45?
Yeah, so
I don't really know.
And you don't have to know, but we'll take the
I'm
first
only
guess.
26, so I don't know what that looks like yet.
Yeah, but your guesstimation of 50, that doesn't surprise me because, you and I are in a younger generation than he. In his generation, and certainly the generations before the 50-year-old, being personable, being authentic wasn't part of the zeitgeist. It was actually bad for business 20 years ago. And, but that kind of old school, outdated mode of being in business communication, it's still there. Like if you watch the local news, which I invite people not to, because I think it's the most toxic thing we could do. But you know how newscasters, they don't talk like they're a human being, and they don't talk to you like you're a respectable human being. They have this artificial cadence and facade. They're just a blank face. They might as well be a robot. There's no human being expressed. So that used to be what's good for business. And life has changed. Things evolve, and I like it better this way. And maybe that's just because it's our generation. So, but having our thumb on the pulse of what's happening now, what does the world want now? We realize okay, it's understandable. The carpenter is kind of still stuck in how it was when he was coming about in the business world. And we can see it's not that way now. People want personable connection.
Right. Now, I'm curious to ask you a couple questions that I hope you're willing to answer about your business and give us some insights on your business, because we can say that it's important to be personable, it's important to be authentic, it's important to be yourself. And on the outside looking in, it looks like it's a switch, like a switch instantly to success. Like if people looked at me pre-Market Like a Nerd and after Market Like a Nerd, they might think, oh, she did a rebrand and she was so successful. And JP, pre-ultra spiritual, after ultra spiritual, oh man, he's such an online sensation now. But there is more that goes into it. There are more actions that go into creating that type of success. And you talked a little bit about that. You're very intentional with the content that you put out there and what it goes in the content to make it shareable. What are some other actions that you take to grow your viewership?
Yeah, and just real quick, and to touch on a note that you brought up, man, we do ourselves an injustice, I think. We really work against ourselves when we buy into the illusion of overnight successes. I'm seeing you today. I didn't see you yesterday. Looks like you're doing great things. So I guess that's an overnight success. Or, in your kind of like exponential hockey curve growth, it starts to happen. That exponential growth point does happen oftentimes. But when we just see that, I think it really digs us into a disempowering hole, because we forget to realize an overnight success was 15 years in the making. For me,
oh my God, I can totally see you doing a video about this.
That's actually probably a good idea.
Yeah.
So, I was rolling along in my career, principally as an emotional healing coach for 13 years before I ever made my first comedy video. And honestly, my comedy video, my content, it rests on the foundation of what I've learned and experienced in those 13 years. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of what you pointed out. So back to your actual question, what else I do to grow my audience? Honestly, I don't do much. I am not a strategy guy. I identify much more as like a creative person. I know that makes me sound like just a cliche eccentric artist, like, oh, I'm creative, I don't want to be. But what has worked well for me to grow my audience is what's most enjoyable for me, which is doing my best to be true to the creative muse inside, doing my best to be true and honor the creative spirit. Now, that's not a strategy. That's not, well, let me do, this and this and this and funnel and all this stuff. Honestly, that stuff is all great, but it's not what I've done to grow my audience. Steve Martin, his autobiography or a biography, I haven't read it. I just heard the title of it, which is Be So Good They Can't Ignore You. Now, I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else. I'm not saying I'm great. I'm saying I do my best to be the best version of myself. And that, for me, has made it that some people can't ignore me. So I think let me act like I have a strategy. Give freaking value. Give value. And oftentimes when we're giving our best version of ourselves, that's the value, whether it's entertainment, inspiration, awareness, or whatever else you're offering.
This is so ironic. He said, let me act like I have a tip. Give value.
Yeah.
That's so counter.
Give value. A lot of us, I think, especially
let me give value by telling you to give value.
And how valuable was that? I would pay at least $17 for that insight. But I think a trap we can get stuck in, I see a lot of us in the entrepreneur space get stuck in the rut of valuing strategies, like with 90% of our time, energy, focus, and resources, and not so much giving value. Now, strategies are valuable to the business owner. They're not really valuable to the people we're reaching, but giving them authentic, real value, I think is not only one, like we're literally giving them more value, but I think medium term, long term, that helps us build our businesses so much. It's like if Three Little Pigs, if you try to build your house out of sticks, to me, that's like trying to build your business out of strategies. Have a solid foundation of value, and then use strategies on top of that. It'll really enhance it. But if you don't have a strong foundation to rest your strategies on, and there's so much, like, see all these Facebook marketing videos that are marketing videos, marketing courses on how to make Facebook marketing videos. There's no inherent value. It's a pyramid scheme. Right. It's just strategy, strategy, strategy. Here's a strategy and selling other people on this same strategy. But like, where's the value? Like, we're writing empty checks.
Yeah. When you were talking about this, I had like a light bulb moment, which you reminded me of when I first started my coaching business. I first started my coaching business because I left a business partnership that was making me very, very unhappy. And literally all I wanted to do was I just wanted to be happy. I wanted to find my people. And I just wanted to stop focusing on money. Because in that business partnership, it was all just focused on money. Like, how much money are we going to be making?
Yeah.
And so when I closed it down, I said, I'm not focusing on money anymore. I'm focusing on people. And that was the mindset that I took into my coaching business. And I remember it was, it felt so seamless being able to make money because people were really connecting with me, and they really trusted me because I was so like genuinely trying to give them value. Like I did so many webinars, and they were not the type of webinars that these like marketers tell you to run. It was no pitch webinars, like some of them were no opt-in webinars. It was pure value. Like, I'm just going to teach you. There's no strings attached. I'm not going to try to like, get you on the back end into my high ticket offer or anything like that. And that was like really the pinnacle of the business, and the momentum of the business was making that shift from focusing on money to focusing on people.
Yeah. And I truly think we get what we give. And if we really give, man, it's sort of like intangible, sounds airy-fairy, but I think that's what allows us to receive a lot. And in giving, I think it's a genuine thing. You were talking about like genuine giving. I don't think there's anything wrong with opt-ins or whatever, but are you giving something genuine while you're doing that? Genuine giving is different.
Yeah. Than strategic giving.
Yeah. Than going through the motions of giving. I think giving it's a state in our heart. Where are we coming from?
There's an energy to it. People can sense it.
Yeah, I definitely believe that.
Yeah. Well, and here's the funny part. I was talking about how how I stopped focusing on money and I started focusing on people, but my next question is about money.
Right on.
So, forget everything said.
We should maybe call it abundance. I think it'll sound more spiritual than just calling it money.
Good call. See, this is why I have you on here. You're the brains. All right. So, JP, I know that you have a great following. People love you. You're amazing. Your hair looks really great. I like your eyes. I could really keep going with all the compliments. I'm sure you get a lot of compliments, but we're business owners. So we like to welcome abundance into our businesses. How have you navigated using YouTube or using your authenticity to turn it into abundance?
Yeah. Up until, let's see, about 2 months ago, I didn't do much, and I didn't want to do much. I just wanted to be in a grow my audience phase for a while without trying to monetize. And, on YouTube, I had my videos were monetized in the sense of like, AdWords gives me some money. But then it came a point in time where it's like, okay, audience, I have a nice size audience now. So let's start gently monetizing it. So about 2 months ago, I
started selling your vision boards.
Absolutely. And I can sell you my 16-tier vision board technology course. So I really released a line of ultra spiritual t-shirts and apparel. That's been the first thing. Then I have my book coming out. That's, it's comedy. It's based on my ultra spiritual character. I really put my heart and soul into that. And then I've also been doing some brand deals, integrating products into my videos, sponsorships.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And then also, it's sort of, I guess, indirectly, but this past year and going into our new year, I'm doing a lot of speaking and performing at events. And those are opportunities that arise because of people seeing on my videos. So those are the ways I've been welcoming money through my videos.
Abundance, right? Abundance.
Abundance, that's right. Money is greedy, but abundance is spiritual.
It's okay, yeah. All of a sudden, it's fine. Okay, and thank you for sharing that, because I think that a lot of people, they'll look from the outside in at people's, videos and business, like looking at their websites and their marketing collateral, and they'll, they'll see the brand, they'll see the visibility, but they don't get to see the stuff on the other side.
Sure.
They don't get to see the stuff that's actually leading to the results or the abundance. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I could throw a quick additional thought at that, in this, I think is true, especially of people who have relatively newborn businesses. I think a real powerful asset that helps a business grow is not needing to make money off of it for a while. So, for the past 15 years, actually the first 13 years of my career, if you will, I principally earned my living through doing one-on-one emotional healing coaching sessions. So then 2 years ago, when my comedy videos came about, I didn't need to monetize it because I was earning my nice living from my coaching practice, which had matured to the point where I didn't really need to go get more clients. So that made it so I didn't need to start squeezing the fruit that was ripening on the trees of my new platforms, my new comedy videos. So I think not needing to harvest the fruit, it's like a principle in farming, actually. It's called green manuring, where a farmer will grow a crop and not harvest it, but they'll just grow the crop and let it die. Then they'll plow it under. So all the nutrients that are in that food go right back to the soil. But if the farmer was in a state of, I need that to eat, then it's okay, understandable, you need it to eat, but the farm becomes more nutritious if you don't need to eat off it right away. And I think it's the same thing for our business.
Oh, it is 100%. I experience the same thing. And I always tell people that this is a big problem in the coaching industry, is we're all just focused on sales, money, and having it right now. And I try to be of course I need to pay my bills and everything, but I need to be detached from the short term so that I can have the freedom and the release, the emotional energy to be able to focus on the long term.
Yeah.
To make more educated and more conscious decisions rather than just making decisions in your business out of fear or scarcity.
Yeah, I agree. I think when we're coming from a place of need in our business, I need to make money off of you this month, dear customers. I don't know. I think neediness can oftentimes repel. It's just I don't know how many relationships I've been in where the relationship's been destroyed because either I have unchecked neediness or the woman's had unchecked neediness. So, and again, it's understandable. We all have to make money somehow, but it is a great asset if we're fortunate enough to be in a position where we've got income coming in from another job, whatever it is, so that this thing called our business, we can fertilize it and not need to eat off of it right away.
Yeah. So I know that you don't need sales for your book then. I know you don't need for us to talk about your book then. But I would really love to. I know that you have a new book that's releasing soon. Can you talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, I think it'd be funny, in the light of what we were just talking about, if I then come at people with this hard sales pitch, aggressively shaming you if you don't buy my book. But yeah, I'd love to share it with people. I put my heart and soul into my forthcoming book. It's available right now on Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com. That's anywhere online you'd get books. And man, it's a comedy book. It's called How to Be Ultra Spiritual, 12 and a half Steps to Spiritual Superiority.
Oh.
So it's entertaining. I'm biased, so of course I have to say entertaining. Is meant to give you laughs, and it is the humor of it is meant to deliver a deeper message of advocating people identify and let go of that which served you but no longer serves you, as well as courageously connecting deeper to your true self. So honestly, I put my heart and soul into it. Writing it was a pure joy and intimidating, but really a pure joy as well.
Well, so I mean, we're all business owners here and we want to be superior in the entrepreneurial world. So We all know the more ultra spiritual you are, the more superior your spirituality is, the more superior you are in business. So you guys really need the book.
Unquestionable. It's like Buddha. He was highly spiritual, and some say he was the first billionaire. That's why they decided to start Billionaires with a B. It's all named after the Buddha.
Conspiracy.
We'll check that fact too, along with the Gandhi quote.
It's probably fair. So JP is probably too kind to do it, but I will go ahead and tell you guys, go to marketlikeanerd.com/JP, and that will redirect you over to his book. And I highly recommend you check it out. He's an amazing soul. He has a lot to share, and you guys can learn a whole lot from him. Plus, you'll have a lot of fun in the process. So marketlikeanerd.com/JP.
Right on. Thank you for that, Amanda.
Yeah, of course. Well, there you have it, Nerdpreneur Nation. Our ultra spiritual superhero has swooped in to save the day. To grab his upcoming book, head on over to marketlikeanerd.com/JP and go and have some fun with it. Thank you so much, JP, for being here with us.
Oh, you're welcome. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, we enjoyed it. So, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys for listening. We hope you learned a lot. Can't wait to hear where these very scattered tips take you. We'll catch you next time on Market Like a Nerd. Have a nerdtastic day, guys. Bye.